the first charge against you, Dr. Somanathan, as the Finance Secretary of India, you spent too less.
I don't think, I mean, I deny the charge. I think we spent what we had to spend. Where have we spent less? You need to be more precise in your charges. They'd be dismissed in a court if they were so vague.
Well, this is a preliminary charge sheet. I'll come to that point in the second round. Mr. Tarun Bajaj, I'm coming to you with the first charge. You taxed us, at least crypto. Why did you do that, sir? The mic is on your right, sir.
I think the cryptos were always taxed, or the digital assets were always taxed. We only brought certainty to taxation and told as to at what rate will they be taxed and how they'll be taxed.
I'll try and continue with this rapid fire because these are people who have taken questions from people like me for their entire career and they're very good at it. So I'll still try. Mr. Pandey, the mic is with you, sir, and the charge on you is you didn't sell enough. At least you are not planning to sell enough next year.
First of all, I'm in charge of not only selling but also non-tax revenue, where we have collected so far 40,000 crore through dividend. So money is money, it comes from different directions. Second, we have been realistic, what we can do, and disinvestment is two-way street. We can, if we have to sell, then others have to offer as well.
That is a brilliant point. I'll come back to you, sir, and I'll request you to take the mic again, Dr. Somanathan. The second point is that while you are spending less, at least that's the charge and it's not proven, I take that point, you're not distributing cash, at least to those who need it.
We are not distributing cash, but we are spending a lot of cash which gets into people's pockets. So we are trying to spend money in a way that boosts everybody's income, gives them a lasting increase in their income and not a temporary high from a temporary cash transfer.
Okay, now I'll take follow-ups with you only, sir, so that we can take the theme forward. When you say that you're not distributing cash, two parts to it. Why? What is the philosophy behind it? And the second part would be you're also, according to some observers, turning off the tap on social sector spending perhaps a little too early.
Okay. So first, why are we pushing for a big increase in capital spending instead of making larger cash transfers? First, you must note that we're making huge transfers in terms of food. So we've given free food, 25 kilograms, to every one of 80 crore beneficiaries in the public distribution system. That is worth a lot. And that's targeted directly at the poor. So that's not a cash transfer, but it's an income transfer. And that's over and above the normal public distribution system. In terms of why are we doing capital expenditure of 1 rupee spent by the government, according to econometric studies, produces somewhere between 2 and 3 rupees of GDP over 1 to 2 years. Revenue expenditure, like a cash transfer of 1 rupee, produces somewhere between 0.9 and 0.99 rupees of GDP growth. So if we are looking to revive growth and help everyone in the country, including the poor, including the needy, it's much better that we focus on the most growth-inducing type of expenditure, which is government infrastructure expenditure. That's what we think will, in the long run, provide the best amount of cash in hand to everyone in the economy.
Dr. Somanathan, is Manrega, the Rural Employment Guarantee Program, not capital expenditure in that sense? Does it not create enough assets that you have sort of crimped spending on it next year?
Yes. First of all, Manrega does not create durable assets necessarily. It is primarily a demand-driven program where if a group of workers demand work, then one is obliged to provide them with 100 days of work. And the nature of the work is secondary. In fact, it is very clear. That's the design of the program. It's a wage employment program, not an asset creating program. And that is not a secret. That's part of the design. So in terms of what we have spent on it, we spent 98,000 crores in the current year, or will be spending 98,000 against a budget of 73,000 because demand has been higher than normal. If the economy were to do better, we expect the demand on this scheme to be lower because it is essentially a palliative to employment. It is not necessarily a substitute for gainful employment. So it's a relief measure. The quantum of the relief measure will depend on the extent of the stress in the economy. So if the stress is lower, the requirement will be lower.
Has the schemes designed outlived its utility in an era where the Modi government has begun many more schemes and has utilized direct transfers, direct benefit transfers so very effectively?
I am not an expert on the National Rural Employment Guarantee. You'll have to ask one of my colleagues. I respond to the financial requirements of that scheme and I don't
Given a
design
choice, would you want to continue to spend that on that?
I would put it this way. If the expenditure on it could be reduced because the demand could be reduced, I would try to reduce the demand, and that's what we've tried to do.